Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I am your host, Dilmus, and I have with me the charged Travis Snell. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I am doing well. Excited to talk about my first venture into the Nintendo Switch 2.
And then we also have the Vampire Taylor Field. What's up, man?
Oh, what is up? Yeah, I'm excited to be here and dive further in because we
Mm-hmm.
talked Switch, and I'm excited to talk more Switch and Mario Kart with you guys.
Yeah, last week we did a pretty short, a little like Switch 2 first impressions. We talked about Mario Kart a little bit in there. That was just me and Taylor, though. So Travis is now here to share his thoughts as well. And yeah, this is going to be mostly a one topic episode or two topic episode, just Switch 2 and Mario Kart World. So it's going to be a good time. Before we get into it, I had to share, I was telling Taylor about this, that I had a weird ass dream this morning where we were watching a Nintendo Direct. And in this Nintendo Direct, they were revealing Super Smash Bros. 6, which I think that's a funny part of it is like, every Smash game has had like a different name, Melee, Brawl. Smash 4 was like, okay, it was a bit of a pun, so we'll, give it a break there. But yeah, they just call it Super Smash Bros. 6, according to my dream. In the dream, they showed off that Midna from Twilight Princess was like one of the new characters, so deep cut Zelda character to get in there. And then the end of the trailer ended with like a tease that Goku was gonna get added, which is funny because that's like people have always wanted Goku, but like they've always said that one of the rules is like Smash can only have video game characters that originated in video games, not like so DBZ would not be allowed. So that was super weird. But I think the funniest detail of this is that how at the end of every trailer it's like release date and like the systems and stuff. For some reason, Smash Bros. 6 exclusively coming to the PS4.
Wow. Just right in the PS5.
Exclusively.
It's the PS4.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of them out there, I guess, so.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was a very weird dream, but yeah, it was. I think we were all. It was kind of like an E3 thing where we were all like on a couch, like watching like the direct together. So it was a bit different than the regular direct watching experience these days. But that was funny. And I was telling Taylor that I wrote down some other notes that like I woke up in my dream and just quickly wrote them down, but they make no sense now. So I have no way to decipher what they were. So there was something else that happened in the dream, but I just remember the Smash Bros. 6 reveal, which we'll see if that comes true. We'll see if Midna and Wolf Link could get added in there, and Goku, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens with Super Smash Bros. 6 when that happens at some point in the future. And then another quick thing. I saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Donkey Kong Bonanza is getting a direct
Oh, yeah.
later this week. Are you going to watch that, Travis? Or do you want to just... Because I don't... For me and you, I don't think we need to see more. I don't know if that would take away from some of the surprise, although I'm sure any of the info would kind of get spoiled for us
Yeah.
anyway.
I'm of two minds because I think I remember saying that at first, like, do I need to see that because I don't want to be spoiled? But it's hard not to because they said it's only gonna be like 18 minutes, so I don't think they're gonna completely go, banana on it. So I'm at TBD. Luckily, it's at 6 a.m. Actually, well, most of the time I'm actually up. If I'm not up though, it's one of these things that I might just like to hear some quotes about it. But maybe I'll plug it in because yeah, I'm sold. That's a day. Like obviously, it's a day one. It's the reason I bought the thing, but I'm a 50-50 to see that because it's hard not to. We're close, but at the same time, I'd like to see a little bit more, but I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's talk about some Switch 2 and Mario Kart. I guess yeah, just so Taylor, if you have any other like new thoughts on the console, we can share that stuff, as we go through it and stuff. But I guess for you, Travis, like just I don't know, any interesting like first impressions you have on the console itself, and then just you can kind of segue that into your Mario Kart thoughts if you want.
Yeah, I joke about this because last week when you guys did the episode, I had never actually I played one race on Mario Kart. It was the kids doing that, it was some friends doing that, so I had not touched it at all. I was very happy with the magnets. The magnets are a game changer. I joke about that, but I legitimately do love that. It's so much easier just to stick those things in doing the whole slide because I'm a dock player, right? So it's not like everybody that might take it out, this and that. It's so far so good. I don't feel like I don't feel a huge leap or anything like that. I don't feel, which
Yeah.
again, I've also said this before, that obviously the bigger leap was for the people that play the handheld, right? So that's why it's like, it's a hard thing for me to ask. It's just in the games, obviously I've not bought like, get the update for Breath of the Wild. So like I'm not paying $15 or buying one to see how that runs. So I guess I haven't experienced that yet, but Mario Kart looks beautiful. But yeah, even like the UI, we talked about the lead up at feels pretty similar. You connect the same way. Like it does. Like I think, unless you need the handheld, it does not feel like there's much jumps there. But I'm happy with some certain aspects of it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, like I guess since last week I've played a lot more handheld. Like I'd really only done docked when we did the discussion last week, and it's like the coldest take of all time. But like yeah, the screen being a lot bigger makes it just a lot cleaner and crisper, even if it is still like pretty much the same quality screen. I mean, I guess it's 1080p versus 720. But yeah, just having more space on it works really well. I've picked up a couple other like newer-ish sort of games. I'm gonna save those for like future Sidequest episodes. Just talk about Mario Kart today, but that's been nice. I have used the chat button and functionality a little bit more now, actually, so I can talk about that a little bit later on when we talk about some online stuff with Mario Kart. But then I think the most resounding thing I want to mention here, and this is a very specific to just me thing, but after playing this console a bunch more in the last week, I get so much hand pain from these shitty fucking controllers, and I hate them so much. So I think I'm gonna follow suit like you, Travis, and get a pro controller, because this is not gonna be sustainable for me to use this thing for another 7 or 8 years if it's like giving me hand pain like this, and I'll just only use the Joy-Cons when I don't know, I'm doing handheld or on the go or something like that. But otherwise, for Donkey Kong, there's no way I'm playing 20 hours of that with these freaking Joy-Cons.
that's what I need. Taylor, did you? Because you told me to tell you, and the link went live. Because for a while it was, I think it was, which I can't remember how it was. It was just Americans, and then there was some like the Nintendo, some sort of fan club or members club you had to be part of, and then eventually the GameCube one got parsed up there. But yeah, like Dylan said, I did buy the GameCube one because with the Switch I got like halfway through its cycle, so I didn't even get a Pro Controller. I just felt like okay, like I got it for certain things, but I didn't. This is like because I'm gonna have it from the start of the life cycle to the end. I won that, and the GameCube one just looks great. I like the feel. Have you narrowed that down, Taylor? Because I know you said you were thinking about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I didn't grab it yet, just because kid's birthday. So
yeah, it is $100, $100 controller.
It is. Yeah, you know what?
$95 Canadian.
At the end of the day,
that's for the GameCube one or the Pro?
GameCube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and it does come with those extra buttons, which is nice. But at the end of the day, I mean, I can just plug my GameCube controllers in there directly for now, so I'm not in that big of a rush. And like I still do enjoy playing with, the with it on my angled slant, like I play
The angled slant.
the angled slant. Yeah, so I'm not in any kind of a rush yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think as for Mario Kart, like I'd only played a little bit when we did our discussion last week, Taylor, and I think I'd only like done single player at that point, maybe like one online race or something. I was like, yeah, this game's pretty cool, but until I really like do some multiplayer, I feel like I'm not really gonna know how much I enjoy it. And thankfully this week I've had a ton of opportunity to play a lot more of it in pretty much every permutation you could ask for. So Amber was here for a few days, and we probably played like a good 3-4 hours of Mario Kart over the course of multiple days. So that was really fun to do a bunch of couch co-op. Then obviously with you guys, last night we played with 5 of us overall online, which was really fun. Tried out, and me and Travis played some battle mode after. And then I also, with another friend, David from the Switch Heads podcast, did like just the 2 of us, and then he invited a couple other people and whatnot, and just played some online for a little bit there too. So now that I've played the game a lot more and played it in kind of the more social setting, I fucking love it. It's great. I think like I never would have thought that. What is the next step for Mario Kart? And like the answer being like make it a lot like Tony Hawk, and that there's like crazy grinds and wall rides and just like almost playing like floor is lava and trying to just how many ways can I combo stuff to like never touch the ground and get as much boost as possible. Is such a fun little mini game to play, like just in the middle of a race. And not every section of every race is going to be like that, which is good to have little moments of breathers. But I think for me, it's like this game feels like it has such a huge skill ceiling, and that's a fun thing to have in a Mario Kart game, because you can also just like relax, go free roam, cruise around, and not worry about that stuff. But then if you want to go on a race and just try your ass off, and like last night I was like, I want to beat you guys. Of course I do. I want to get a little competitive here, and that was super fun to like try and find the perfect lines on all these maps and try out these different racers and still figuring out all those details. So yeah, the more I've played this game, the more I've loved it. I played a lot more free roam now as well, and tried out all the modes at least a little bit. So yeah, I freaking love this game. I'm having a great time with it. How about you, Travis?
Yeah, no, it's a great time. I'm always at a difficult spot with these ones because I was talking about this with Clay in the Discord, Cocktail Clay, as far as like this and Mario Party. I'm trying to think of like Smash to an extent, but Smash you have so much more variety of things you can do with stages and character. With some of the base Mario games, especially the sports ones, it's tough to be like, okay, what can you do? Like new or next to it because it's been around for so long. And I can even say like the Wii U, I guess, yeah, the Wii, yeah, just Mario Kart 8 in general. Like they always change little things here and there, but I don't can't remember the last time I played a Mario Kart game and be like, this was awful. Like they really missed the like. It's kind of like I feel like they cracked the formula with 64, and they've just been making it better and better, just like an old recipe that they just like fine tune. So yeah, I think they add some fun aspects in here. I really like the costume unlock and the character unlock. I think that's a fun time. The Grand Prix is the same as usual. Like you said, I like some of those additions because that's really all you can do is find little nooks and crannies. Okay, what could we do this differently with an app? Like we talked about last night, like the previous game, flying was a big thing, right? Where you could check your wings and stuff. Where even this game still has that, just to a lesser degree. Has some classic, like kind of, they're not the exact same maps, but kind of plays on that. I like a lot of the new ones. We talked about, we're big fans of Boost Cinema, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, no, it's a great time. Like I really have nothing negative to say about it. There's a couple of modes I have tried out. All the modes. There's some modes that like I don't love or have changed, and I don't know if it's for the better, but it's also not bad particularly. It's just I probably will stick with Grand Prix or playing online with you guys. But the core game itself, if you are a Mario Kart fan, is worth every penny, and it's a good time, and I enjoy almost all the items except for the beatbox, but I do enjoy when I get to have it. But no, it's they still delivered here. It's a really good game.
Yeah, but you, Taylor, do you have any new kind of revelations or anything like that since our discussion last week? Which we mostly talked about the Switch, not a ton about Mario Kart, but yeah, what are your kind of top level thoughts?
Yeah, it didn't click until you said it when we were playing, with how you're basically getting different pathways in between the courses when you're doing different map to map kind of plays. And I thought, oh, this is really interesting. It's outside of the Grand Prix, you're basically experiencing different parts of the map. I thought that is really, really unique, because there's that whole portion that we were just going upriver, and I fucking hated it. By the time we got out of the fucking waterworks and it was actually go time, it was already on the last lap, and it was 30 seconds of actual runway. It was just brutal, but it was still cool. I really like that they have that functionality.
Yeah, that's pretty much like a whole course that's just unnamed, right? That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So I think that's really, really fun. That was awesome. But other than that, it's really neat to know, okay, some vehicles are really good on asphalt and the different types of actual ground. There's certain vehicles that handle better on that type of terrain. And then, yeah, I feel like handling is much more at play here than ever before, because I always would just go a specific motorbike, small tires, and Mario Kart 8. That'd be my go-to, and it could handle, had great acceleration speed, all that, goes around the corners, all the good stuff. And now in here, it's such a different dynamic. You need to either be really, really good with the cart that you're using, something that's pretty versatile, or you're going to feel it. Because when we did that one map, and it was all just super sharp turns and corners.
The
Even if
the
you're
Air Fortress map, that was brutal.
Even if you're trying to drift, you're still having a hell of a goddamn time. 'Cause I think all of us came at least 9th or 10th.
No, I was fifth.
Around there.
Don't.
You're
don't put me in
fifth?
there. I was fifth. Don't put. Me
I
in
don't
there.
remember. I remember seeing an ENT at 9th.
No,
It was Emily.
Emily was also playing.
Wow, okay, Taylor, you've said enough mean things about Emily.
That's finally the one where I uncrowned Dylan, because Dylan had a winning streak. That's the one Grand Prix I won,
Yeah.
which had that one in there. So now I know to go back there in the future. So nice try, too.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time, just still unlocking all the cosmetics and whatnot. There's a few others that I don't have for some of the side characters, but I think I got all the Waluigis, I got all the King Boos, I think I got all the Shy Guys, and last night we got a few while we were racing, which is nice, because then when Madison's playing as a character, it's okay, this is great. Now we're doubling up our unlock rate here of cosmetic skins, which is nice. So
Yeah, I wanted to start by talking about some of what you just mentioned there, Taylor, of just the way, I guess, just the variety of the courses and the way they're used in here. And I feel like with Mario Kart 8, I think I maybe played online 2 or 3 times, And I think with like Mario Kart Wii back in the day, I like tried that online. I think that had it online a couple times, but it's never really something I've been that into. But I feel like with this, maybe just because I'm living in like Vancouver and I'm not near you guys very often, and not near a lot of people who are playing Mario Kart all the time. But it's like, okay, I feel like I'm probably gonna be playing online a lot more, and I think that's where a lot of the stuff really comes together, like the open world and the free roam. There's been a lot of people critiquing like, oh, there's nothing to do, there's no quest, it's kind of boring, like what do you do? You just do these like simple P-switch things. That's all it is. But to me, that's like the perfect lobby to have in between like online matches. The way settings we had was like you're only in there for like 10 seconds, so you maybe can't do much. But maybe you can collect a couple coins or something like that in between. But if you have like longer breaks in between, it's just kind of fun to explore those tracks a little bit more and outside of them too. And I think the more free roam I've done, I realize like how much of the world there is that just never gets used in any course, at least that I've seen so far. Like around the Crown City, for example, like that's a huge city, and there's so many random little details in there. Or this afternoon, I was messing around in Toad's factory, and there's like so much there, and so many random areas with like fun little challenges or just interesting little like platforming sequences that it adds like a lot of like the flavor in there. I think it mixes perfectly with the online and just kind of in between matches, just cruising around with some of that. And the fact that it's even just like the menu, right? The background when you're on the menu is just the free roam, and you just hit plus and instantly like drop into that, which I think is perfect if you're just, maybe you're waiting for a friend, maybe your buddy's making a smoothie like they have in the Switch trailer, and you're just like, okay, I just want to kill literally 1 single minute before my friend gets here. You can just like hop into free roam and mess around for a little bit. And I think just having that in there is like, yeah, it's not supposed to be an open world like the way Breath of the Wild is an open world game. It's just supposed to be kind of like like the fact that they even don't have it as like a mode selector on that main screen, but it's like you just click a button to go into it, I think is kind of a distinction there. And then it feels like a bit of a cherry on top that there's like all these coins and random shit you can get on like little challenges and whatnot too. Some of those challenges, by the way, are really freaking hard, but I'm really liking the use of free roam in there just to have a more chill, laid back thing. I kind of wondered how much I'd use that, but I'm finding that I'm really enjoying just cruising around in that. How much will that last? I don't know, but I think just with the online connectivity, I'll just, no matter what, be jumping in there for a little bit to find the little hidden corners of the world.
Yeah, I guess it's tough for me because I come at a different angle. Because I remember when we covered this. This is not something I needed in the game, but at the same time, it's not something I was like, "Oh, don't put it in there." So I guess if someone heard that, I was like, "Oh, think of all the things you could do with Mario Kart." It's like again, it's just like that's not exactly what I would be playing the game for. So if it's in there, it's just like, oh, that's a cool little add-on, and the fact they've put some stuff in there is great. Like you said, whether you're just killing some time and racing around looking at stuff. I remember yesterday when we were in the middle of waiting for a map for battle mode, there was an area I hadn't been to yet, and it was like I went my first time going through a pipe. So to me, it's just like fun exploring stuff. It's I never took it as, oh, this is like going to be the way it goes. It's not an open world where you're going to be like Dom Toretto bumming people like, oh, you want to race? Like, it just, I don't, I get, and that's where it all comes into expectations, right? Like we talked about last year dealing with my wrestling game when GM mode finally got add online, but then there's a whole bunch of people like, oh, but it doesn't do this, this, and this. But it's like, yeah, but we've never had online. Like, let's just be happy. So it's the same thing. Like, this is something now that they're tinkering with, and maybe the next game it'll just go kaput and they'll go, oh, hey, that's the fun thing that Mario Kart World had, right? That had that. Or maybe it's like, hey, let's do this, see how people like it, and then also you could expand upon it maybe further on down the line if they have new ideas or whatnot. So it's, for me, yeah, it's just like a fun area. I wasn't, that was not the maker. The free roam was not the make or break. Again, it's the new maps, the items. I think they went above and beyond with the characters and costumes. I would like a little critique, wouldn't dock it like review points, but wish it was similar to Smash, where you would just click on the character and all the outfits would be there.
Yeah.
I know there is the sort option, which is good, but that's not the default.
It's the classic Nintendo sort where you just have two options that aren't great.
Yeah, and it's like you still got to go through. If you're going to Waluigi, it's like you got to go from A all the way there. So that's like a small critique. But yeah, so for free roam, I've enjoyed it. I haven't played too much with it, but I also, I don't know. I guess if you want to, people can critique it. I just didn't have that big aspiration. This is gonna be some game changing type of mode, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a pro or con that there's not really too many meaningful unlocks that are required from free roam. Like you would have to do it in order to get mirror mode unlocked. So that's something that maybe people would want eventually. But if you do, it's like the requirements for that are pretty low. You could if you just put on a guide, you could probably crush that out in like 20 minutes or something like that. So yeah, it kind of like, yes, it's a really good way to get costumes. That's how I just, like I said, on the weekend, just spent an hour and a half grinding out all the food with every character and getting every single costume. I still have a bunch of characters I need to unlock, but got all the costumes in there. But yeah, when I was playing this afternoon, I had a funny like random event kind of thing occur. I don't know how much of these there are in there, but I was cruising around the open world, and then like three charging chucks, a little squad of them, just drove up from around the corner, and there was like a marker on one of them, and it said like attack or defeat or whatever, something like that. And I was like, little bounty? I don't know what this is. And so I started chasing them. I'm getting items. They're driving like really fast. Like it's not like they're just like, classic Nintendo. Like they're just right in front of you, easy to get. They just kept driving away. Eventually, okay, I get some shells, take out one of them, chasing the rest of them. The third one starts speeding up, take out the second one. And I'm just chasing them for probably a good like 5 minutes or something like that. And eventually I get close enough, get a couple boosts, have a couple shells, and I can take them out. And yeah, I don't think I really got a reward other than like a sticker or something. But it was like a fun little like GTA kind of moment that you get in there. So I don't know how many of these like random events there are, because obviously there's like P switches and there's the question mark blocks and the peach coins and or peach medallions and things like that are more set. But yeah, it seems like there's other random things that can occur. But have you used any, or have you explored much of the free roam, Taylor, other than just like our intermissions in our online session?
Yeah, I did at the start use the free roam to get a bunch of costumes and get my toes wet in there, and then I did do a bunch of the challenges just to try and figure out how to do some different things. And I think I mentioned this doing the one P switch challenge where you're basically doing the wall riding and you have to jump and get to the other wall.
So hard.
I just can't do it, and I'll go back and I'll try, but holy shit, that's just a whole nother level. And like I'm aware, I'm cognitive, okay, these are the steps that I have to do, but it's just to go from doing a charged wall jump off and to not going into a drift, and it's a whole nother can of worms. But it's a cool mechanic, and it's something I want to get better at trying to do, because when you're doing those races in the Grand Prix and you're hitting those maps, you will see there's lots of different opportunities where you can hop on this wall. And I think it was DK Spaceport when we were racing last night, I accidentally did get, I think I used the feather and timed it, so I ended up going on the wall. And then it just is a totally different dynamic, because then you're going way up along the side of the wall, and it was like a very narrow pathway with like very tall walls. So
cool. I love
yeah, it was really, really a lot of fun. And so again, it's another way to add replayability to just a whole new scale with that. But the free roam, it's exactly as I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was necessarily going to be this whole open world racing, like Need for Speed Most Wanted kind of dynamic. I thought, okay, you're just going to be driving around in the worlds, and I think it's really cool how off the track you can go and everything you can do. You can find stacks of coins. You can go through warp pipes and come up at higher locations on the map and do different things. And so I think that's a lot of fun. I've not come across any bounties yet. That sounds really, really neat. But yeah, there's some cool little quality of life things that they put in there. And I hope that it's something that they do expand upon or build off of and add some more content in there, because it's ripe and just sitting there for some extra juice, extra pizzazz. So
yeah, we'll talk about like
Absolutely.
DLC potential things at the end, because I do want to talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, I think that's such a fun part of it when you're just cruising through the open world and you see just something at the top of a tower and you're like, how the F are you supposed to get up there? And it's fun to like theorize of like, I can't see any possible way, but there must be some grind or some pipe that leads through this way, and you just like kind of go in this little rabbit hole. And once again, like the reward is just kind of the experience of doing it. Like maybe you do get some coins and it helps you build towards unlocking some more carts and things like that, but you're probably more efficient to just like, actually it might be the most efficient to do that in free roam, honestly, because there's sometimes just huge stacks of coins in different spots, so you might get more than it would, and if you're limited to 20 coins per race in a Grand Prix or something like that. But pretty cool. How about we take our first break, do a little free roaming here. I'm going to thank our Patreon producers: Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, TGGLM69, Jeremy Renner, Charlie Rendell, Cocktail Clay. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. If anyone else wants to support us, best place to go is Patreon. You get episodes early and ad-free. You get all sorts of exclusive things. We just recorded an episode of The Originals. If you want to hear some fun, wacky stories and a nearly
You're all over
naked
the
Taylor.
There was no theme of this episode originals. This was a very tangent film. So if you like us just going off, let's talk about this, that was the originals.
If you want to hear us discuss how quickly ASAP is, definitely go check out Originals. That was a very fun episode. And you can only do that on Patreon. And that's just one of many beautiful exclusive episodes you can get over there. What's going on in the feed? There's 28, what are we at? Years? Is that this week?
That's this week, Thursday.
That's this
You got
week.
your tickets, Dylan?
I did. I
still
at
don't buy
like
mine.
4:30, something 5 p.m., something like that.
Nice.
Early-ish kind of showing.
Nice.
What else is hitting the feeds? What's going on right now?
Let's see. So you and Kirkland got Weekly Geek coming up this week, which will be fun.
Right.
I already got some news pile up there. Obviously, it's not like coming up, but it's coming up enough soon. We talked about On Originals a little bit. Dylan and I, it's like 2 weeks from now, but still Death Stranding. It's out next week. So like to me to pimp that out, like it's
Crazy.
it's crazy. It's there. Yeah, we got. I'm trying to think. What else is? I feel like there's. Ironheart's starting next week.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Ironheart.
episode 3 binge and stuff. Which, yeah. So yeah, there's lots of good stuff for June. Oh, that's what I'll say. Netflix and Fail After 9 is happening this Friday, 6 p.m. PST. We're gonna be watching. I don't even know what the
Extinction,
movies.
right?
Extraction or Extinction?
Extinction, yeah. I looked for the worst reviewed horror movies we're going to watch together and see if it deserves a fail. And then Taylor's got a Geek Screen episode record that'll be dropping soon. And then soon we're doing our top 10 specials. So for video games, TVs, and movies, we're going to be doing our list. So look out for those. Those will be lots of fun. And then our personal retro. So really, this Friday is the start of like a lot of the old episodes and stuff coming back. So subscribe to
10-year
all
celebration.
the feeds. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be good stuff. Okay, how about let's take a quick ad break, which you could skip if you're on Patreon. But otherwise, you can listen to this. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Let's talk about some of these modes. Knockout Tour is kind of the big new flashy one in here. Another thing that is required if you want to get mirror mode. So I've been doing a little bit more of these. I did one of them. The first one I did online, I won, and I'm wondering if that's a classic thing where, any like battle royale game always puts you against like bots the first couple of games to build up that confidence and make you want to keep playing the game, but they'll like put gamer tags of people so it looks like you're playing against real people. So I don't know if that's what Mario Kart did to me to make me feel good about my win. I just barely won it, and I haven't actually won again against the CPUs. I can't beat these MFers. They're just too good. Really, my only critique of Knockout Tour is that holding the A button for 20 minutes gives me immense hand pain. Once again, that's just like my critique of this console
You
overall.
gotta go get some massage. I guess it's the climbing too, but you gotta go get some.
It's
hand
climbing.
massages or
It's
something.
working on a computer all day. It's using these Joy-Cons for almost a decade now. It's a whole mess of things, but hopefully when I get a Pro Controller, that won't be an issue. But Taylor, I don't know if we mentioned or talked about Knockout Tour much. Have you ventured into that realm at all?
I did. I played it. I just did it the one time, and that was me and Madison playing it together. And yeah, we held on for quite some time, but I did not win my first game. I came in third. And
You made it to the final
I made it to the
check
finals.
marker, I guess.
It was that was it was an experience. Holy smokes. I didn't really know what to expect. I said knockout, so I wasn't really sure. It didn't clue in what we were doing until we were playing, and after a few laps, then it was like, okay, don't be 18th, don't be like 16th. And then Madison was out. And I was like, okay. And then like the shit was getting real when it was down to like that last like 5 players. Like, holy crap! Like you're going hard here, and I really really enjoy it. I need to revisit it though because I want to play a little bit more of it because it's a lot of fun. You don't want to, if you're playing with friends like with Madison, she was done pretty quick. So like, oh well, now I got to sit here and just watch. I'm out. It's like I got 10th
It doesn't seem like
place.
the best split screen experience.
No, not at all. But it's fun. I want to play some more. I think I drifted off of it and went back to the Grand Prix because I wanted to unlock more characters. And I think at this point, I think you're only unlocking vehicles if you're doing the knockout mode, and of course skins in play.
Yeah. How about you, Travis? How much have you played of
I was the exact same as Taylor, where I just played the one time, and because we talked about it a little bit, because me and Dylan did battle mode, which I know we'll talk about, but we almost did that. And I said, yeah, I played once, and like I liked it, but I think my issue with it didn't differentiate itself enough from Grand Prix to change it, because it's like you still play multiple maps, because what happens is you get in there, and this time it's 6, but you're like each lap is a new map, which I think is cool. That idea of like you kind of just smoothly transition into new map, like again, and that's something we didn't mention on the online component. We had no connecting issues, a little silly that of course like when Taylor changed the intervals for being a minute intermission or 10 seconds, it like changed, like it restarted everybody at 0
Right.
the point. So that was a little odd, but okay, I get it. But as far as connecting all that stuff, no issues. Like Madison and Emily came in very easily in and out, so that was good once we figured all that. But yeah, like it was fun, but I don't know. I think I would just probably maybe it would be great if we could do it with like if you had everyone online with another person with them, so we'd have like like a big full house of because there's no limit there, right? It's just a limit of I can only bring one person with me. But do you have a limit size how many people you can have in your room?
I think you could fill up a full 24.
So even if you had like but even if it was like a 10, 12, I think there'd be more fun there as far as like, oh, who's gonna get knocked out? Like I wish that's something we had in the Gauntlet day. That would have been tons of fun to like have
Been cool.
6 to 8 people and be like, okay, let's see. But as far as just like playing with just and I just play it by myself, but even if it was just me and Emma, it's like, oh, it's just us and then like some CPUs. So I wish there was some more stuff. Even when you get to the finals, I think it goes down to final 4 and then it's like, oh, get in first
Yeah.
place. But I kind of wish it went down to like final 2 because I think that'd be fun to have like a mono. It's just you and another person back and forth. So there's some changes I would do. So it nothing again wrong with it, but nothing enough for me to go play that more than Grand Prix, I think. And same thing as like Grand Prix, you play it, you get a little break, then you go next one. This is 6 maps straight. So Dylan, I don't know how your hand pain would do, with that one because you're just going. But yeah, I fun enough, but not enough juice on the bone there.
Yeah, maybe I need more juice on my hand bones, and then
Yeah.
I would not have as much hand pain. Yeah, I think it's one like I will play through it until you don't even have to win them all, which is nice to get mirror mode unlocked. You just have to have played all 8 of them, and then do some other shit as well. So I think I might just do all of them just to unlock mirror mode, and then I don't think I'll touch it again unless someone's over who doesn't have a Switch 2 and wants to see what the mode is like and try it out, and then I'd be fine to jump in there again. I do think it adds like an intensity to the battles that you don't find in Grand Prix, especially when you get down to that final 4. So I don't know. I think it's a good addition. Obviously, I think it makes sense. I think it's more like they had the open world first, and then they're like, okay, what's a mode that would work with the free roam, not like the other way around.
That's a good
so
point.
It feels like that, but I think that'd be cool, Travis, to have the one-on-one showdown at the end. I think would be pretty cool, but that's not a big deal or not a big part of it. But yeah, let's talk about battle mode a little bit. This is funny that this is in here to me because when they did that Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart World, that was like 16, 20 minutes long, something like that. I don't think they mentioned battle mode at all, and everyone was like, "Oh, is this battle mode even in this game?" You'd think that's something that they would quickly mention. Now, maybe I'm forgetting there, but yeah, it seems like it's just one of those things that's been around forever. It's not really new, I guess, so they didn't feel like the need to highlight it. But yeah, battle mode is in here. I think to me, my biggest critique of it would be that, well, one, the maps feel like a little bit too big, and obviously the maps are just like chunks of the open world, and then they just like put, borders around the edge of them. They feel like a little bit too big, even though there's 24 players at times. Like Travis, we were doing the snow map, which is cool. I love the setting of that. But sometimes it's like, man, I didn't see someone for like 2 minutes. Like, what's going on here? But I think my biggest critique, and this is like the same critique that Mario Kart 8 had, and probably most of the games, is just like there are so few maps in here that it feels like the variety will run out pretty quickly. There's 8 overall, and we played half of those in one Grand Prix. So you do 2 Grand Prix of that, Grand Prix, whatever, 4 or 5 rounds. And then like you've seen all of them at that point. And like it just feels like you have this whole open world. It'd be so easy to crank out like 16 or 20 of these maps because all you do is section off like some different parts. And there was even, there's one section in like near Crown City that has like a little like it's kind of like a New York themed thing, and there's like a little Central Park, like a big park area that you do like a P-switch challenge on, and like that would have been a really fun spot for a battle mode, but like that's not one. But like they wouldn't have to do anything, just put some little borders around there. So I think that's my main critique of it. Otherwise, it's about the same. Battle mode's never really been my go-to, but I think it will be fun for us to throw that up on a 24-hour stream or GV day or something just to mess around for a little bit. But once again, that's always kind of like the last thing I'm doing when I'm playing Mario Kart. But Travis, I think you've played like a bit more than me, so I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I enjoy. I'm somebody that I absolutely love battle mode. I think there's some eras where I was definitely playing more battle mode than Mario Kart racing. I just maybe it's because I also come from the Twisted Metal Crush Hour days. I was a big fan of those games as a kid, so I love cars where you can throw just wacky, weird stuff. And obviously, Mario Kart's kind of the peak of that. And really, we don't get any more games like that nowadays. Like, is there another car game that you can shoot stuff at people? Really?
There was once again that game that came out recently, that PS5 exclusive launch title one. What's it called?
Yeah.
Destruction All Stars. That
Yeah.
no one talks about.
Twisted Metal needs a right. Wasn't that the game? Everyone was like, they should just made this Twisted Metal,
Yes,
like they
yeah.
at least do some. But no, so this is I can't remember because Dylan told me it was bare bones, and I can't remember because we had Mario Kart on the Wii U, but obviously I had not transitioned to buying it on the Switch, so I've not played that in years because I did not bust out the Wii U constantly to play that. And then I can't remember the last one I had. Like, I don't even think no, I guess I did have one of the carts on the Wii because my sister wanted the stupid steering wheel. But I can't remember those generations of battle mode. But I do remember at least the N64. And
That one
I
was
could be-
iconic.
Yeah, I could be wrong with GameCube, but at least then that was like an elimination one, if I recall. Where this is, and like I said, if this happened in the last previous two, forgive me, but this is different where it's a point based system where, okay, let's say, I got 5 balloons, Dylan Taylor got 5 balloons, and if I take 3 from Dylan and 5 from Taylor, I got 8. That's my points. Where it's not elimination, where I thought. And that's where one of my critiques is I wish there was 2 modes where you could do a point-based mode and elimination. Because when it opened up and I was thinking of elimination and you have 24 racers, I'm like, this is like Mad Max. This is going to be Fast and Furious. Like that's like, to me, you versus 23 other people in battle mode, that's going to be crazy. Where you still get that. But at the same time now, what the point system is, if you lose all your balloons, you lose all your points. So I do like that aspect. I wouldn't want them to actually take the mode out. Like I said, I would just like the additional mode because I like that you kind of have to play offense and defense because you can't just pop off and let's say you could go and get 20-30 kills and then die and be like, okay, whatever, I'll sit back. But you have to play strategically. Like there's one point last night I had 22 and I had 1 balloon. There's 3 seconds. I just found a bridge. I just hit under there. I'm like, this 22 is going to have to do me well because I do not want to lose the balloon. And it didn't happen, but there was 2 times both me and Dylan almost took each other out, and it would have like changed the dynamic of the swap of either giving me a massive lead or Dylan a swap. Like I like that, and I agree with Dylan. There's some maps that are better than others. That snow map was not great, but then a map like the one that has the quicksand, that's fantastic because it's just a circle.
Classic.
There's the quicksand in the middle, but it also just feels like you're finding people all the time. There's shells everywhere. There's bananas everywhere. It just feels pandemonium. So it does kind of feel like, I don't think I've played every map, but it is a little map dependent. But no, I still really like it. It's fun. I just wish you could maybe do a points one and elimination one because I would love to do an elimination with 23 other players. I think that would just be fun to see because kind of like I was pitching with what is the knockout, just like that idea of, because I think that was always fun because we did that back in the finals for the actual GV championships was N64. It's Kirkland and Jessica versus Amber and Saris, and I think there's nothing better that when it's like you get down to 2 people and they both got a balloon, it's like, oh, that standoff where you get a little less of that with the point system. There's never like that standoff really because there's so many times where like there's one map me and Dylan didn't even see each other the whole time. So it's like we're in competition, but it doesn't feel like that. Where when it's elimination, it is like a little bit more personal. Like, okay, like maybe I got to maneuver this way or take Dylan out earlier where it's like, well, I don't have to take Dylan out right now because like I just got to rack up some points. Doesn't really matter. Maybe worry about that later. So it's still a fun mode. I like it. I don't know, like I said, if it meets the other mode. And plus, I don't know. I'm sure they could figure it out, but maybe there's a way that, hey, if we have 24 people, the elimination is just maybe too long or something.
That's what I was thinking about. That must be it. Like, one, they have to make the maps big enough to accommodate 24 players, but then when you start whittling people down, then when you only have 5 people left, like those maps are going to be way too big and it's going to take forever. And then if you are doing split screen or something, then you have to wait like 20 minutes for your friends to like close out this battle, which is, it's funny. I feel like that's a Nintendo thing in general is they don't want people to sit out. I know that's like one of the reasons that Sakurai's always been like, oh, time mode is the way to play Smash Bros. But like everyone always switches it to stock because that's how we want it. But like I feel like that's like a Nintendo mentality is they don't want people to sit out. But then like obviously they have Knockout Tour in here, which is like very much making people sit out as you shared with your example there, Taylor. So I don't know. It must have been just something that, I mean, I just think when it comes to battle mode, that's just kind of like their lowest priority. They'll stick it in there. They'll make it work. That's maybe the best solution they had was just like this timer thing. But I don't know. Can you not modify? You can't change the settings on that, I guess. Hey,
I didn't see any because I feel like every other thing opens up with, what do you want to do in battle mode? Which is like, here it is. This is battle mode,
Right.
So,
yeah. Have you tried that, Taylor, at all?
No, that was something that I've played it before, and I figured, I'm not in a rush, so I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I will try it. You guys kind of answered any curious questions I might have had, considering it's pretty much the same. And it's unfortunate that you can be spending so much time on a map, just be bombing around, and a period of time goes by where you don't actually see, each other. That kind of sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the other good thing is like why I think there should be more maps is because it's fun to have just like areas that maybe in a race you drive through it really quickly, but instead it's like, oh, this is a full area that you can actually explore. And I think it's really fun that the maps that they do have in here, they are really cool. Like there's the one that's like on the Mario Bros circuit, which is like where the gas station is, and there's that whole zone. But it works perfectly as a battle map, and like interacting with those parts of the map that you would never drive through because it would just make you lose the race is really great. So I think that they did get really creative with them there. But looking at Mario Kart 8, I remember that game, got however many, like 48 new courses through DLC or something, and even a few more if you factor like from the Wii U switched when they added it to the Switch and Switch 1 in general. But like they never added a single battle mode thing. Like so I don't think they're really going to make any changes to this or add maps to it, especially when they would just be like making them with the pre-designed maps already. So I don't know. It seems like a weird oversight. Maybe they'll change back on that. But considering they didn't even advertise it in that direct, maybe they didn't even add it until recently. I don't know. Maybe they just like put it in there last minute. I'd be kind of surprised, but who knows what happened there. Yeah, I guess, and then I don't know what there is to say about like the concept of Grand Prix, but I think Grand Prix and versus mode I think are such a good distinction here, and in a way that's very different than the other games. Where like if you go in versus mode and you can just pick on a map to do like 3 laps or whatever it is of that map, you're getting a different version of the map than you're getting from the Grand Prix version, because there's always like that driving to and from the next map. The first map in a Grand Prix is always like a 3 lap or whatever it is, but then you have to drive from that map to the next one and then do like maybe 1 lap of that next map. But I think especially when we played online and when you play online in general, it's like that becomes no longer just like a set order of Grand Prix, but instead just like, oh, we're here on like Mario Circuit. There's 3 or 4 maps that connect to it by road. Which one do you want to pick, or do you want to pick random? And I think that adds like a ton of great variety to it, where now you're just experiencing little variations of these maps in that I feel like I'm never going to learn all the intricacies of all these little details, but it's still fun to just feel like you're kind of seeing new courses or new parts all the time. And, we were playing last night. I'd already played all the Grand Prix and some Knockout Tour and some Free Roam, and we were still seeing areas that neither of us had seen before, as you mentioned, Taylor. That water, like long river sequence is one example, but there was a few other ones in there too that, you just never would bump into it otherwise. So I think that stuff's all really good. There's good settings there. And then, with the online functionality, I wanted to shout that out a little bit. So obviously one of the things we kind of memed on and all of us were like, okay, they added like a literal C chat button on the Switch. Like, we're not going to use this. We're going to use Discord. But on the weekend, I was just chilling, playing some Mario Kart on my own, just doing some free roam. And yeah, as I mentioned, David from Switchheads, who's also appeared on Sidequest before, he messaged me. He's like, hey, do you have chat set up? Do you want to play some Mario Kart? He saw me online. I'm like, I don't have it set up, but is it pretty easy? So yeah, it takes a minute, which it does. You just like put your phone number in, and then you're good to go. It takes a minute to set up. And honestly,
number,
it
wow.
worked. Yeah, you got to connect to a phone number, but
I'm just surprised Nintendo lets the phone number in there in the.
Well, I think that's how
they.
So kids aren't like just using it, I guess, right?
I guess, but there's so many kids that have phones now. So that's.
Is the phone number like on the receiving end? Can anyone else see it when you put it in?
No. You just
That's
it
good.
just verifies that you're a person, I guess, with a phone, I suppose. Which yeah, you're right, Travis. There's a lot of kids that have that who have phones these days, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, it works, pretty much like Discord, but it honestly is very convenient and very quick. And I wasn't gonna tell you guys to get chat set up so we could do that yesterday, but like it honestly works pretty much as well as Discord, and it is great for people. Obviously we're on Discord all the time. We have various group chats with every permutation of Geek First people, so for us it's pretty convenient to just set that call up. And I have David on Discord for sure, but honestly it worked great. And like, the sound quality, it's not going to be like the pristine sounds of us talking into our microphones here, but like considering that I was holding the Joy-Cons, my Switch was, on the other side of my room, same thing for him, and like the sound is really clean. It's very crisp. It doesn't sound like muffled as it would across the room. And the meme, as I talked about earlier, like in the trailer, was that if your friend's fucking using a blender in the background, it's going to mute that sound. I don't think David had anyone using a blender in his background, so I cannot confirm nor deny the blender sounds. But like it sounded great. It was really convenient, and it's funny. It's like I'm complimenting them on this when like I could do this on my 360 20 years ago, and it was like just as convenient. So obviously it's Nintendo behind the curve a little bit, but I gotta say, okay, it's in here. and it actually does work pretty well. So they got it right. I haven't had any issues with it so far. And then part of it too is that you can like share screens with each other, right? So like by default, when you boot it up, you have your game, and then at the bottom you have like your multiple screens where you can see your friend like share screen. But you can also turn that off if you want to preserve like your internet, and then you can also like change the size of the screen. You can just remove that completely if you don't want to waste your time looking at your friend's screen. You just want to focus on your own. And it's all really quick and convenient, and doesn't like slow you down, and doesn't like kick you out of lobbies or anything weird like that. So props to that. I think it works pretty well. I don't know how much I really will use it because I feel like I'm mostly going to play with you guys on Discord, but I will use it a bit more with other friends. That it's just pretty convenient. I guess the main annoying thing is adding people on Switch is still kind of annoying because you got to know your Switch code, which no one knows off the top of their head. You can't just Google like Rapatika and find me on there. It's like always one step removed. So that's maybe the only issue. But otherwise I think like online works really well so far. And like I didn't really use it in 8, so I can't compare it to that. But in terms of just quickly getting in and out of the lobbies, joining friends games mid-game, like all of that seems to work really well so far, other than like the little hiccups we had. It was like the weird thing was like if you guys were playing, like Taylor, Madison wanted to drop out, so you had to like leave the lobby and then like rejoin, but like then you were the host, so it like kicked me over to the host. Like that's kind of janky. That seems like a bit of an oversight. I don't know. It's like I'm sure that's just how it is, but otherwise I don't know. I think the online is working pretty well for me. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on that we haven't shared yet.
No, I will probably never use the chat thing ever.
A dead
'cause
button
Discord
on it. You
setup,
can
yeah.
one thing, by the way, you can remap that C button to be something else. So if you want like a second home button or a second A button or whatever, considering you're never going to use that for chat functionality, you can just remap that if you want. So you might as well do that. Otherwise, you just have a literal broken button on your controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see myself utilizing that part of the online really at all. When I was getting my Switch too, I think, lots of stuff was flying off the shelves. Lots of people buying the accessories and whatnot, but those cameras, they were
They were staying
sitting
on
there.
shelves.
Oh yeah, they were getting
collecting some
dust.
dust. Day one, and they're already dusty.
That's hilarious. In terms of new mechanics, like we've talked about, like grinding, like wall riding. One thing that, like, I feel like I'm still really bad at like just activating the jump, because it's like it's pretty much the same as a drift, but it only does it if you're not, I guess, moving in a direction when you do the action of a drift, right? But you need to be moving at a certain speed. Is that what it is? I just feel like half the time it doesn't like activate for me. Do you guys have any insight on that?
With the drift?
No, with the jump that you can do.
Oh. No, I haven't had any issues. I guess sometimes I feel like I wish the jump wouldn't activate, because sometimes I feel like it messes me up in certain times where I just get almost too much air and I'm kind of having to readjust. So no, I haven't had any issues with that.
I mean, I've had issues with it, but I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, because you have to hold the drift button. Yeah, so usually I find it to be it's weird. It's weird. So when I'm holding my controller, my Joy-Con,
He
like
got his controller in his hand, ready to
like
go.
all my fingers off, except literally just, I think you're holding the A button to charge up that jump, right? I think that's which button it is.
I thought it was A and R, because like it is the drift. Like you have to hop into it, right?
You hop into it, and then
Or
okay,
do you
maybe
just
that's
hold
it.
A? Maybe that's what I've been doing wrong.
I haven't done it for a bit, because I didn't
Like
do
if
it
you have
last
to jump
night.
on a rail, what is your success rate of achieving that?
Jumping on a rail? I
Yeah,
drive
not
on the
ones that you
rail.
can drive
I'm not
onto.
jumping. I'm driving
Okay.
on those rails.
Do you ever jump onto a rail, Travis?
No, like I said, I don't like
Okay.
the jump. I like to just keep the wheels on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's maybe where my issues are. I'm trying to do really like precise shit with it. But yeah, I think all that stuff is really great. The wall riding, I still like barely get any of them. I feel like I've wall rided like 10 times at most in like hours of play so far. It's really hard to get it right. You usually need a mushroom, I'm finding, but I guess obviously if you did like a boost into like the perfect angle, you could do it better. Also, a low-key mechanic is I just feel like I really like what they've done with the water. Like, one, the water looks really great, which, it's a Nintendo thing and it's behind the times. We've been seeing good-looking water in other games for a while, but looks really good. But just like the waves and how they feel like they're not just like, I don't know, it's not just flat water, like, and you can get air off the waves, and then you kind of get, when you do the bounce, like flying into the water and you kind of pop out of it, you can get like another little boost and you kind of chain that together, but it's really tricky to get that timing down every single time. But I think it, for a lot of sequences, you are just driving in the water, or I guess boating around in the water for a while. And so I think to have like a little bit more mechanical depth there is fun, considering that there's like less rails and things usually. It's just like a flat surface, whatever, but you have actually a little bit of dynamic there. And then another random little thing I really like that I don't think this has ever been in another Mario Kart game, but if you like fly off a jump and land on someone's head, you do like the classic Mario thing, like bonk on their head and like get some air. And yeah, like I don't think that's been in other Mario Kart games. It's really hard to be precise enough to like land on someone's head in this game, but I really like that. I think it's like a fun goal. Like I'm gonna try and land on this person's head, knock them out, and get like a nice boost, and then I can get like my jump, like spam my boost thing, because you can do it multiple times in this game. So yeah, there's a lot of like little details in here with the mechanics that are making adding a lot of depth in here that I didn't know I wanted. Don't think I could have vocalized how this stuff would have worked, but I think they really nailed it when I don't think they needed to. I think the other mechanics they added were like enough, but I think this stuff is just kind of cherry on top type things. But you guys have any thoughts on those mechanics?
No, I think it's just, I agree with you. It's not that they don't need to, but I almost lean to like they kind of do, because like I said, there's so little you can change with the core concept of the game, that obviously you talk about the map and the bounce on the head, that I think that's where it's just like between cycles of Mario Kart 8 and this or whatever, there just must be little things that pop in there like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? Like, let's add that. And I feel like those are essential, that you can't always keep them for every single game, but I think those are essential to try and make them feel somewhat unique, because that is always to me a worry with these games. That happens to me in the old days. It's different because or I'd say since like GameCube and on, because in the olden days we had the graphics that looked like very different, right? Where I'd still say probably if you put this game beside Mario Kart 8, this game does look different, but it's not like Mario Kart and the 8 on the Switch looked like shit or anything like that, right? It still looked very nice. So that's where I think those things are maybe kind of needed actually. So, but no, nothing more. I think those are fun little additions.
Really enjoyed it when it happened, because I was driving and you hit a point where you're both in the air and you're gliding, and then it's just like you just go boop onto another player, and it's like, whoa, holy crap, like that was really fun. And it's like a classic Mario fashion of bumping on top of someone's head.
Yeah. Travis, what are your map highlights? Favorite maps so far?
Like I said, Boo Cinema, that's good. I like the change up with Rainbow Road because it's still the same, but I like kind of the little prelude to it. Not sure if that was in Mario Kart 8, but the prelude of you're in Peach, because we had people over and they're like, yeah, this is Peach Stadium. It's not Rainbow Road. It's not Rainbow Road. It's like, no, we select it. No. And then it's like, oh, you go shoot up. I do like that little aspect too of the shoot up and the characters holding on for dear life. Yeah. So I'd say Boo Cinema. I like that. I do actually like the Dino one. Not just saying that because Taylor's here. I think it is a fun, chaotic mech. There's one that I don't know if I've played from that angle or not. I really liked the one we played last night with Yoshi and like all like the fast food elements or like the food carts, and there's just Yoshis in different like outfits and stuff. It was very like a food markety type of thing. I don't remember the specific name there. And then anything Bowser related, I'm usually a fan of.
Yeah,
that.
the Dry Bones like Hellscape one.
Yeah, I just like
cool.
the dark aesthetic.
I don't think Dry Bones has ever had a map before, so I'm happy for my boy.
Yeah.
No costumes though.
I just like some costumes. It's sad, but yeah, I just like that aesthetic. But yeah, the Boo Cinema, that's definitely a big standout. I like King Boo. I like the cinema. I like scary stuff. So that's a Travis coded map right there. So
yeah, how about you, Taylor?
I'm a sucker for Moo Moo Meadows. I really like that one. I'm glad that it's back with the cows and all that. DK Spaceport, that one, when I first played it, I fell in love with that, just with giant, like, mechanized Kaiju Kong just jumping around, the barrels, too, and everything going up and down. There's just so many cool dynamics in that map. Really
that
like
one,
it.
I want to hop on that one, too, because I feel like what they went for there was, like, the OG Donkey Kong / like Mario versus Donkey Kong kind of thing, where like Mario versus Donkey Kong
moment, yeah.
It's very like primary color, like very red, yellow, blue, and that's what that course is too. And like the girders of it, and just like climbing up this tower, and having like a boss in the map is like a really cool dynamic that you don't like. There's like dinosaurs and stuff, but like that's that's a very cool thing to throw in there.
Just a massive robotic DK was a sight to behold. That's one thing with some of the scope of this game is great, and seeing that, and that's when is that the first map on that Grand Prix or one the first map? Or no, I know it's on the first Grand Prix, but it's in the first four. But I feel like that was the first map where it's like, oh wow, this feels like we're in something special. It's that first Mario Kart moment where you just see big DK and you got to ride in between the slings. You're like, okay, this is great stuff right here. So.
Some of the maps too, they have tracks from Sunshine, but they're kind of like spruced up. There's one that's just when you're roaming around like Delfino Plaza from Mario Sunshine, and they have another one from like Rico Harbor, and it's just when you're coasting and you're racing, it's just so nice just to hear those tracks pop on. I
The
really
music
like it.
is outstanding in this game. Definitely like taking some of those OG themes, remixing them. I think they're integrated pretty well, like transitioning when you go from different zones with each other. It's subtle. I'm excited for when they put it on like Nintendo Music and just really listen to these tracks outside of it, because as you're cruising around the map, you're kind of changing up the music often. But yeah, there's some really good callbacks and some fresh stuff in there too. Yeah. I think the only other one I'll shout out here, although I don't think there's been a bad one so far, is the DK Mountain DK Pass, I guess, whatever the ski hill one is. I just always love that. Like Wario's ski hill in Mario Kart 8 was one of my top favorites there. When we did that ranking, Taylor, I think that was like probably a top fiver in like the whole game for me. And I just love that. So I feel like also Donkey Kong as a character, I think his maps are always excellent. Obviously, he had the spaceport in this game and the mountain, but I feel like every Mario Kart game, I always just love Donkey Kong's maps like the most out of like any individual character. So shoutouts to my boy. Okay, characters, costumes. What are your guys' favorites there?
I like anything with almost all of Bowser's are good. I liked that, so I picked the charge one where he's just lots of pipes and just like silver going on. We
Very
talked
Mario
about
Strikers, that one,
Yes.
like Battle League aesthetic.
Yeah, we talked about. Luckily, Dylan got me the Mario with the sunshine aesthetic. Really like that.
So
And
good.
then I haven't unlocked yet. I'll see the what Taylor's name is. So I'll let him talk about that one or Dylan. And then it's not even that's my favorite, but I just have to. Actually, I'd say most of them are. There's King Boo as a pirate ghost. That's great. Well, he's already a ghost, but just like that aesthetic. Wario. I said this last night. I think whoever's making these games has a soft spot for Wario, because I feel like there's a couple characters very underserved with costumes, and then there's some characters where it's like, oh, they got multiple costumes, but then they have one that's like, oh, that's easily their best alternate, right? Where Wario has like his biker one, the worker one, the Maharaj, the pirate one, like all his look like a step.
He has like the
above people.
WarioWare kind of aesthetic
Yes.
one too, with the punk look. Yeah.
It look they just like
The
it
Mad
feels like,
Max one that him and Waluigi have are so fucking good.
yeah,
I love
it
those
feels
ones.
like they already have. These are like the additional DLC ones, but they're not. And all of Wario's to me are just top notch. So yeah, those would be some of my my favorite ones. And I have not unlocked as many costumes I think probably as these guys yet, but I'm excited to. It is a very fun aspect of the game so far. So
I'm looking forward to unlock not the costume but the character of Rocky Wrench, I think is his name, or Rocket
Yeah.
Wrench. I really want that character so bad, but I don't have him yet, and I think it's kind of just a luck of the draw thing. But I love having like the NPC characters in there, like your penguins, your cows, all those freak shows. It's too bad none of them have costumes, but at least they're in there. I think that's pretty cool. The one I was showing off the Taylor yesterday is like the Lakitu with like the kind of Japanese like rice farmer aesthetic thing, and he's got like the little fishing rod with a spike on it. It's so cute. I love the farmer Luigi. That's a very, very fun
Yeah.
aesthetic. And then I think you mentioned this earlier, Travis, but like DK, what the hell? He has one costume. It's kind of inspired by like the mech look that he has on the whatever like that map is called. Where are the costumes for Donkey Kong? This guy should have so many, but he only has one. So I don't know. I'm hoping that with Bonanza's release,
yeah.
there'll be like some DLC timing. Just throw some free costumes in the mix there.
You said that last night, and it's like, oh, that's actually perfect thinking, because it feels almost odd where we've talked about between changing his look back to a more classic look, a new single player 3D game. Like we've talked, and then he's getting a portion of the Universal Park. It feels like, okay, DK, they're trying to make a big deal again, Nintendo, like a pillar. So it felt odd that he just got a alternate costume, a shitty one, because like, I think the alternate ones are fun, but they're just like very basic, like I'm a racer one. Oh, there's another one. Mario's Pro Racer is really cool too, where he has like the like a very like almost like F1 type of suit and the helmet. I just think it
Yeah.
like there's a couple good bikes and carts aesthetically look really nice with him, but it has to be that stuff's coming out with Bonanza, because if this like if we go for like a whole year or even 6 months, there's nothing but DK with this one, that feels very odd. So I feel like it's, I'm not gonna say 100%, but I'm 99.9% sure. When you said that, I was like, yeah, I think that has to be the case. So
Yeah. Hopefully that's happening. How about we take our last break of the show? We don't have much more to talk about, but yeah, we will be right back for the final thoughts. All right, we are back. Taylor, do you want to? What are your highlights, costume, character-wise?
Man, I really, really like Bowser Jr.'s Pro Racer skin. It's just he's got the bandana on his neck and he's got like a little bit of like a scarf. He's really, really cool. But Waluigi, when I first got that vampire skin, that was something else. And he's just got a couple other really cool zany ones, like his Road Ruffian one. I'm like, man, this is right on Mad Max. I'm totally jiving with this hairstyle and all that. But I really do like King Boo's, just his aristocrat kind of skin too, and like the pirate version. There's a lot of fun in here. But you're right, the DK only getting the one skin, that did not clue in until
Effed up.
you guys like brought it to my attention. I looked, I was like, oh yeah, there is only the one. But there's another one in here I thought, and maybe it's another character, but it looks like, because I haven't unlocked it yet, it looks like a piranha plant with a Goomba next to him too. Have you guys seen this?
Piranha Plant with a Goomba.
Yeah,
Because I know Goomba's a character.
let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, look into that. And yeah, I mean, similar to the Donkey Kong thing, no Diddy Kong, I don't think. I think I saw a list. He's not in here. So Shafted, once again, he eventually got added in like the 11th hour in Mario Kart 8 as one of the DLC characters. He was in the Wii one. I think he's in Mario Kart Tour, but I think everyone's in Tour. But yeah, he doesn't seem to make the cut half the time. But come on, give me Diddy Kong, especially with Diddy Kong Racing being dead. He deserves to be in this racing game.
I really don't get it. He's a racing legend, you know. And wouldn't it be sick, Dylan? How sick? I don't even remember them all, right? But I would see them. How sick would it be if some of the characters were from that game? It's like, we're not doing Diddy Kong Racing, never happening. But you know, Diddy and like 3 other characters in that game are gonna be in here. Like,
Yeah,
what?
that'd be
and
cool.
like, it's no commitment when you're putting like the coin coffer or Concord. Like, even then, probably. I don't have no problem with this. Probably I'd say 80%, maybe even higher. 80% of people that play this game would have no idea who those Diddy Kong people are. They'd be like, oh, look, it's a random crocodile. Oh, look, it's a random walrus. Like,
the crocodile would be great. The Donkey Kong crocodile.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be like, oh, they put him in for Diddy Kong. It's like, no, they're just like, oh, it's another animal. Like, just come on, Nintendo. Just make some of those weird guys the Diddy Kong people. So.
Okay, so is the thing you're showing is not like a random character, but it's a specific character. Hey, the piranha plant with a Goomba next to him.
To me, it's specific, yeah, because this was underneath like DK there when you unlock DK, and so I'm not sure what this is.
You know what? I wonder if that's just like, if that just means like the NPC characters in general, like if it's just one slot for the NPC characters.
Oh, it's the button for NPC drivers when sorted.
Oh,
look at
there
that.
you go.
Damn.
Me and Paperclip Slip are in the.
Thought we were on to
same.
something there.
Showcases the
That would be cool though.
Yeah, because it made me think like, oh, that's some kind of cool like double dash kind of thing where you get 2 characters side by side. I'd love to have the 2 of them like on a cart together, but
Yeah.
c'est la vie.
Say la vie. In terms of items, like we were all talking about last night, like the hammer throw is a new thing, which I think is cool, but man, I don't think I've had like a 0% success rate with throwing those hammers at people.
I remember we talked about this a little bit. It was actually a good use to be in battle mode, because I said to you, not much help in the races, but when you're driving face on with somebody, that was a good
it's pretty
success
quick,
rate.
right?
Yes, that was success rate.
Good
So
point,
I
good
recommend
point.
people in battle mode. Hammer works great there. Otherwise, not so much for me.
I love the giant mushroom. I think that was in Mario Kart Wii or something, but it's fun to have that back.
Great.
I don't know. I don't know what position you need to be in to get it. I don't get it very often, but and I wish it lasted longer just because it is so fun. But
Like
I love it.
14 to 18, 19, because Logan
Okay.
gets that one quite a bit, and that's usually where she's rocking. Don't get me wrong, she kind of goes on a tear. She's a very 50-50 player. She's either right up there first, dominating, or like having some issues. She's, doesn't like to stay in the middle. She does a lawn smash. She's a big side mapper, and I always tell her that
Side
there's
mapper.
pros to that, but there's also some big cons. So, but yeah,
She needs free roam. That's the mode for her. Just cruise around.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the ice flower's new. I don't like it. Maybe I'll get used to it, but it's just like seems like about the same as a fire flower. Like I don't know if you're supposed to hit someone multiple times, then you like fully freeze them or something, but it's fine. But I think maybe my biggest highlight here is the feather. I really like the feather. Sometimes you get it and there's just nothing you can really do with it. But as I'm in this phase right now where I'm trying to find every little shortcut, every weird little grind, every little thing I can. That's obviously the best way to like just quickly find that stuff. So especially as I mentioned, I'm not great at jumping like onto rails right now. So with a feather, it's hard to mess up. But also, I think it's great to have another item that you can get if you're in first position, because that's one of the worst parts about being good at Mario Kart is that like if you're in those like 1, 2, 3 slot,
Punished.
you're not getting to use a lot of the fun items, right? You get like mostly bananas, mostly coins. Maybe you'll get a green shell if you're lucky. Maybe you'll get a music box. But to have like another item in the mix there is really great. I think just for a little bit of variety in there. So yeah, shout outs to the feather. Oh yeah, and then carts. Travis, I think you've been using a lot of the Lil Dumpy. You're a big fan of Lil Dumpy over there.
Easily my new favorite addition. Wasn't sure I was going to do, but it's big on the speed and the weight. I'm a big weight guy when it comes to Mario Kart, but lots of times the speed can get lost, so that's tough. So it says a little bit. And just design wise, man, is it awesome. So there's some other fun ones. I probably do need to do that and go around and try to do a little others, but I feel like I've been put in situations where when I was playing, I was versing Emily, so we're playing for the win, and then versing you guys. So I need to start playing some more loose ways, but Lil Dumpy is my clear favorite for this one so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still trying to find my combo nation because I think in 8 I pretty much always used dry bones and either like the standard cart or like the pipe cart, and I would use that 99% of the time, and it worked wonders for me. But I feel like in this dry bones' stats aren't. I need a little bit more speed, so maybe I just need to find the right cart for him at this point in time. I also love the little Wally looking cart. That's one of my favorites. I used that with the Lakitu yesterday, and that was really fun. And then Taylor, you were mentioning the Rob Hog. Rob the robot is really fun having there. For me, that's like a fun deep cut because Rob was, for whatever reason, a playable character in Mario Kart DS. And I always remember that being such a weird thing. And like, Mario Kart 8 is obviously where they put in like Inkling and Animal Crossing characters and Link and like put in all these other Nintendo characters. But I think Rob was like the first like Mario character that just like, appeared in there for whatever reason. He's like never come back. But to have him in there as a cart, I think is a really fun way to get him back in the mix. So that was a fun callback there. There's the Cloud one. I really like that. The Ralligator. I love the Ralligator. Any that we haven't mentioned here, Taylor? I feel like me and you had a lot of the same favorites when we were playing yesterday.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find my my favorite combo because there's a few characters that I've tried which I feel like are very different from the previous one. And my bikes, I like my bikes, but they're they handle differently in this game.
Right. Yeah. I've never been a big bike user, so I gotta try them out a little bit more because I haven't even really used them in World so far.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the drifting, but maybe it would work pretty well. I want to do like a little bit of theorizing on some DLC stuff, but do you guys have any other thoughts on the game that we haven't mentioned yet?
No, sir.
All right. Well, yeah, I have mentioned this before, I think, but I think it would be really cool for the DLC if we do get, like, that's where we get non-Mario characters, because I think if they are going to go that route, obviously they could just add maps, but if they do want to add characters, like, what Mario characters could you add in here? I think the only option would be, like, to add costumes, but if they do want fresh characters, I think the best way to do that would be to go with, like, these other, non-Mario but Nintendo characters still. And so obviously I think the one that makes the most sense is like more Donkey Kong stuff. And so I don't know, like, do you guys think that they would add like an island or something that would have the open world section? Would they just like Pangea that shit and like stick another continent on the side with like a little extra, like to add more maps on there? Like, how do you think they're gonna? Because they will add DLC to this, no doubt, because this is gonna be, a game on this console for years and years to come. How do you think they're gonna integrate the maps into like the seamless open world that we have?
You go, Taylor, because I don't know yet.
I feel like it's easy if you're gonna add more maps, just add another continent, and then you can have like a bridge going across over
A
to,
bridge,
or
okay.
add like another island. Because when we're doing the our Grand Prix thing last night, when we were voting on the different maps, like you get down to the bottom area of the map, and then you can vote, and you can go like across the water over to this side
Right.
of the island, and then like you can go up. So as you're kind of voting and picking and choosing, the paths open up, so they could just like plop an island over in this corner, and then you just kind of work your way down there. So yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think
think I
it'd
agree
be
with that.
I think it'd be a shame if it was like just teleporting to some other realm rather than just like having it seamlessly integrated with the rest of the game, and that would not really serve the game well, and it's like open world concept anyway. So yeah, hopefully they figure something out like that. I haven't really gone to like the edges of the map and just looked out at what that looks like. So I don't know. I guess I should probably do that and just see like would it make sense to just stick more land over here and drop some courses on it. But I think my theory would be that like maybe it'd be cool if they did okay, here's the Donkey Kong DLC where we add like 2 or 3 Donkey Kong maps or maybe like a Grand Prix 4 maps. It doesn't have to be all Donkey Kong stuff, but like at least a Donkey Kong country type thing. And that's where you throw Diddy Kong in there, throw a Funky Kong, get some more costumes for Donkey Kong in there. And like timing that with other releases could be really cool. Like obviously F-Zero would be a big one because they had a couple of those maps in Mario Kart 8, but that would be really fun because it's the other big Nintendo racing franchise. And then I would just look at like, Splatoon, Zelda, and Animal Crossing were all represented in Mario Kart 8, so maybe those would be ones that they would add, add a little Animal Crossing town island section in there, get those characters back in the game. Zelda, obviously tons of potential with Hyrule there. Just stick, a quarter of Breath of the Wild's map on the side of
Yeah.
this world. Hell yeah, I would be so down for that. Go down in the depths like Tears of the Kingdom. I think you could have a lot of fun with that. And then I think Splatoon actually would be really cool as well to get some of those cool cities and painted areas and whatnot. And I'm sure they want to get that back in there because Nintendo do love the Splatoon right now.
Yeah, I would love. I don't know if that's anywhere in the docket too weird for them, but I would love something with Metroid to get like a very spacey sci-fi.
I don't think they would do it,
air.
but man, I would
No.
love that.
I don't
Even get
think
like
so, but-
Samus's ship as like a cart would be. I think they
Yeah.
have maybe had that in a previous game. I think that'd be really cool.
I would like the characters in a cart. That'd be fun. But I just think to me like you could do like I just think about like the DK map. You could do one map with Metroid, whatever, whether it be the new game, something of the old ilk. I think that could be. But it's just like the same way like the Smash stages always have like such a like this is a Metroid stage, So that's why I would love that aspect. But yeah, I don't see that. My only hope was maybe because they thought, oh well, Prime's coming out, and maybe if they get to some route, but that to me is a lower degree as far as that'd be a big overhaul. Where DK, it's like, well, he's already there, and we got some Donkey stuff, so you can just add a little more. But hey, maybe I'll cross my fingers and maybe like imagine you're driving. Ridley's around up there, like they're,
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
they're yeah.
No,
there could be
Ridley'd have
some-
to be a racer, I think. Stick him
I
on a
don't know if
cart.
they do that. If we're not getting Diddy, I don't know if we're getting Ridley, but I'd like to see Ridley in the skies while you're driving. So
Yeah, I like a boss, kind of like the way Donkey Kong's a bit
Yeah.
of a boss on his map. That'd be super cool. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Or do you guys want to drop a review rating on this bad boy, or are you just gonna be content with your thoughts shared here?
not drop a number. It's like I don't. So I'll do the classic 2 numbers. If I'm
2?
great, yeah, because sometimes I have to do this to clarify. If I'm grading this on
Okay.
just like a game wise, for me it's like a 10. But that's like many Mario Kart games or Mario games, like say Mario parties. It's like for me it's hard for them to screw it up now they cook the formula. I think for enjoyment level, and that's where I am so on the favorite scale, I'm like an 8.59. I think there's some little critiques we had, some little modes I'd want the variation, and some stuff could change. Like if some Donkey Kong gets some costume, no, it's a little thing, but it'd be different if everyone just had one costume. When you got some characters popping off with 6 and 7 and
Yeah.
DKs are there, so that's where I'll say what is in progress. Both of them are in progress.
Sure.
But yeah, as far as the way it plays, like it's smooth, it plays great, it looks beautiful, it's tons of fun. Like to me, you can add everything, but at the end of the day, Mario Kart is about getting some friends together and having a good time. And does it do that? Yes. Like I said, they cracked the formula years ago with the 64 version. Because if you go back and play Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, oh my God, is it awful? We did that one time, I think, for a gauntlet.
Yeah, that and the
it's
Game Boy Advance one
Yes.
are shit.
there
Yeah,
are some
I
bad
hate
ones. So
those
that's why
games.
something was cooking in 64. They got the recipe and they're just perfecting it then. And so yeah, no, I've had a great time. Like this is one that I'm always fine to play. Like when we do GV Day or Extra Life, I would play Mario Kart. But this is a game that I don't usually need to own. But Emily's a bigger fan of Mario Kart than me, and it came with the bundle, so it's one of those. Like I've said
Bundle
before,
makes it easy. Yeah.
I'm here for Donkey Kong. But I think again, if you love Mario Kart, I don't think there's much not to love here. Even if someone's like disappointed at the free roam, I guess I would understand that. But like they could easily just not put it in there and just be like, well, do your races, you know? So, yeah. So for me on a critic scale, I just would give it 10. I really don't have like major critiques that like, oh man, this is a point off. Like I think everything's working very well. So
Nice. That'd be Taylor.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with this game. I think there's a learning curve to be had with it, and I think the fact that they were able to improve and build off of what we had previously, it blows my mind. It's a game that I have been waiting for a very, very long time for, ever since with the Wii U and I had Mario Kart. And then it's
right,
like,
that was a meme
Switch,
for a while.
that was,
you wouldn't
that
buy
was.
you wouldn't buy the Switch Mario Kart because you're waiting for the next one, and here we are. So
Yeah, and then I thought, fuck it, they're not putting it out, so I
Yeah.
bought it and bought the DLC pass because they're like, no, we're still adding to this like 50-year-old freaking game, and so, okay, we're gonna ride this as long as we can, and sure enough, here it is. So I don't have any problems with it. I think it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It feels smoother, more refined, and everything that they could have improved, I'm happy with, and I just hope that we get DLC sooner than the last one did. So I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because I think it's great. I'm having a heckin' of a good time with it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think it's hard to review a Mario Kart game in like a scale kind of, that we do with other things. And yeah, we don't normally drop number reviews on games in general just because games take a lot more time and usually we're just talking about them in very incremental ways, but yeah, I feel like to me it'd be a 10. Like I feel like this is going to be my most played game on the Switch 2 and like I don't know, we'll see how long it takes for the next Smash game to come out on this console, but considering this is out now and I'll be playing it for years and years and years, I feel like it will be my most played, unless like Spelunky 3 comes out, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So yeah, I feel like this is just gonna be an evergreen title, and yeah, I'm sure it's gonna get tons and tons of DLC over the years. So yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it more, as we all continue to play more of it here, but then also just over the years as the DLC comes and goes. And yeah, I think this will be a fun thing to look forward to. I feel like a lot of the upcoming Nintendo Directs will have something, even if it's just like, here's 3 new costumes, go check these out. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to go unlock these new costumes by drinking a smoothie down a cheap beach over here. Like, I can't wait to do some of that stuff and just unlock whatever new things come in there. So, yes, it's going to be a fun one to kind of check in with over time. And, okay, I did this last week. It's your turn, Travis. Unrelated to the episode, name any video game ever. Just name a video game.
Luigi Mansion
The OG? Okay.
OG. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. No reason. At this current point in time.
Can't wait
Thank
to
you for
find
doing
out.
that. Yeah, stay tuned to find out. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back next week. I'll get Kirkland back finally. He's been hasn't been on in a little bit. But we'll talk about all sorts of new games. New games coming out this week. What's it called? Rematch from the Seafood team. Their soccer game is coming out, which I'm very excited about. And a bunch of other stuff. So yes, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.